I'm here to welcome everybody and say good morning. I'm so happy to have so many people attending this meeting. For those of you who don't know me, I am Ryan Garreds and I'm the current chair of the United Way Board of Directors. As you can see, this is a very different annual meeting than we're used to. Normally, we'd all be in a large banquet room right now celebrating the United Way, its staff, and its volunteers. Obviously, that's not possible this year, as we know things have changed. We can't meet in person, but we are still going to spend the next half hour celebrating the resiliency of the organization and the resiliency of this community. As you know, the United Way has been connecting people and resources to address the challenges of our community for over 50 years. We just celebrated a 50-year anniversary last year. Historically, we've worked with schools to improve the lives of our students and families. We've worked with local organizations to provide safe childcare for our community. We've worked with local organizations to assist families in need with safe housing and access to food. Our job was to connect the community and its resources with everyday struggles. And I think we like to think that we did a good job at making a difference. Every day we worked to make our community better. And then in March, everything changed. As you know, we were faced with a pandemic. Our organizations shut down. Our access to healthcare was limited. Our schools closed to in-person learning. Children were at home. Children and families no longer had access to the resources they needed. Yet all those challenges that had pre-existed the pandemic still remain. And they still remain. So in the spirit of Thanksgiving, I want to talk a little bit about what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful for the hard work of the United Way, of Larry, Daniel, and the United Way staff in addressing those insurmountable challenges that they were faced with, that we all were faced with. I'm thankful for your support and your resiliency. By working together with members of the community, the United Way was able to connect community resources with solutions to meet the unique challenges in the areas of childcare, access to food, and support for health providers, especially mental health providers, that were so important. The onset and the continuing pandemic. These weren't the only challenges, but they were the most immediate. Today, you're going to hear more from Daniel, Jessica, and Larry about all these efforts and the things the United Way, the steps and the efforts the United Way took to address those immediate needs. Obviously, this could not have been done without the support of the community. The United Way doesn't function on its own. It needs all of you, all of the members that are in attendance today. We're thankful for the donors, the volunteers, and the partners who've given a lot over the last 50 years, and most importantly, since the pandemic started. After we get through some brief housekeeping items, I'll highlight a few of these community leaders that we're thankful for. We'll go through the state of the United Way and its finances, and then Jess and Daniel will provide an update on workforce giving and the impact that the United Way has had on the community and the challenges that they have been supporting since the start of the pandemic. And then Larry will provide some remarks and an update on initiatives that the United Way is currently undertaking. So thank you very much for attending today, and I hope you enjoy the program. I think minutes of last year's meeting were circulated prior to this meeting this morning. Either they were circulated last night or this morning. I hope you've all had a chance to review those minutes. If there are no comments, I would seek a motion from a board member for the approval of the minutes.
This is Melinda. So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any further discussion about the minutes or any discussion about the minutes? There being none, I'll ask for the board members to vote on the minutes that were presented.
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? There being none, the minutes are approved. So thank you again. Jasper Asplin is going to provide us with an update on the state of the finances of the United Way.
Great, thank you, Ryan. Appreciate it. Can everyone see my screen currently? I see some virtual head nods, so I will roll with it. Well, thanks again. I also would like to piggyback off what Ryan mentioned. We really do appreciate not only everyone's help with United Way and their team, but also our gracious community members, our business partners, because without you, these financial results would not be possible. So per our bylaws, we are here to kind of present and tell a story, because really at the end of the day, our financial results, they do tell a story of kind of where we have been, and hopefully with our strategies, it'll help show us where we are headed. So here, as you can see on this colorful pie chart, it kind of breaks out both our sources of our funds and our uses of our funds. And at a very high level, the annual pledges is our bread and butter, our workplace giving, our campaign dollars from our business partners. And right now we are in the very heat of our campaign season. We know as a United Way and United Ways across the globe that this annual pledges amount continues to decrease year after year. And within this last year, we have a decrease of about 3%, which even though is quite small, we as a United Way at Central Minnesota are continuing to strategize and explore other opportunities to continue to raise funds for the organization and keep the interests of the business and community members in mind. On the flip side, in order to help strategize with this declining annual pledges or workplace giving, grants have increased by 13 times almost from the previous year. And that has a lot to do with the 21st Century Learning Grant, which, as Ryan mentioned, it helps provide multiple educational opportunities, after school programs for our Central Minnesota community. We will continue to explore this as a unique opportunity for us to continue to serve those in our community. However, just letting you know that grants can be a little bit more restrictive in nature as to how you can expend the funds. Other contributions, as well as the other items here, are mostly pertaining to individual kind of gifts. That is another strategy that we are continuing to explore, and we definitely appreciate those larger one-time gifts. And we're pleased to explore other opportunities and avenues to help serve those critical needs in our community, such as mental health, as well as childcare. And we'll continue to explore those in the future. On the expense side of things, real quick, as a nonprofit for the 990 or our tax return, we're required to break out kind of our major program fundraising and admin expenses into their functional categories. I am pleased to report that we've been very consistent in our percentages breakout between each of those categories. Program being the program, our mission, what helps support the United Way. Admin, what is our strategy, more administrative type tasks, supervision, and fundraising, what helps solicit contributions to the organization. So once again, we will continue to use your dollars and help make them go further. But really at the end of the day, it's why do you raise your hand? Why do you participate in United Way? And we're pleased to show some further recap videos and get you excited, even more excited about United Way here in the near future. I raise my hand to help others in need and help them succeed, and to help others out with education. But why do you raise your hand? So with that, I will pass it back to Larry.
Thank you, Jasper, and welcome to everyone who is with us today, and thank you for joining us. If I have not had the pleasure of meeting you, my name is Larry Onless, and I have the honor of being the president and CEO of Your United Way. I will be introducing the next 3 segments. We'll hear from Daniel Larson, our VP of Resource Development, VP of Community Impact, and the Executive Director of Partner for Student Success. We'll hear from Jessica Houle, our VP of Resource Development and Engagement, and then we'll share a video recapping some of the highlights of last year. So Sam, if you would roll the video.
I'm Daniel Larson, Vice President of Community Impact at United Way and Executive Director of United Way Partner for Student Success. Like everywhere else, this year has been unprecedented in our department, and we are so thankful for the generous support that our community has given to United Way so that our staff, our team across the community, and this great region can work together responding to the crisis at hand. That meant raising over $200,000 immediately in March for this community's COVID-19 relief funds, helping people access remote technology for mental health supports, social services, housing and transportation, and perhaps most of all, distance learning supports and access to quality childcare. Before the pandemic hit, which feels like so long ago, we're proud to have evolved our United Way Neighborhood Resource Centers at Discovery and Lincoln Schools into 10 community learning sites across the community in places like the library, Youth for Christ, Promise Neighborhood, and multiple schools. As we transition into financial stability, looking at initiatives in housing and childcare, and into health, focusing on mental health. We know that the words now more than ever and like never before are being used frequently, but in our case, never more truly. Thank you for all the support you're giving United Way and for all the help that we can provide the community because of your generosity.
Hi everyone, it's Jessica with United Way of Central Minnesota. I want to just take a couple minutes of your time today to actually thank a few people. We have a workforce committee who's meeting behind the scenes and has had to pivot and change very quickly over the last 7 or 8 months. Kathy Julius from AIS Planning and Heather Hoskins with GeoCom both serve on our board and serve as co-chairs of this committee. Tara Grunhove with Align Strategy LLC, Brandy Nelson with Bremer Bank, and Bob Mahold with Mahold Insurance. These individuals have been meeting monthly, if not more, to really come up with ways to continue to engage the workforce, but also to make sure that we're meeting the community needs at the same time. We brought several different leadership topics out into the community and held leadership forums with topics that were important and pertinent to the business community at the time. We brought in people who were experts at these individual topics to talk and to address the community and answer some of the questions that you all may have had in navigating through the pandemic. Thank you to those individuals who have been a part of that so far as well. Moving forward, the Workforce Giving Committee is really talking about how to change the CEO conversations and how does United Way help in the business community in a different way than we have before. We're going to continue to reach out to CEOs at the company and have these conversations. So please, if one of these volunteers calls, please take their call and set up a time to have that conversation. As for those who have already completed their workforce giving campaign for United Way this year, thank you so much. The ideas that we've seen, the planning that we've put in place, all of those things have created a recipe for success. If you haven't yet done that, or if you're wondering what else can we do, please continue to find innovative ways to work with your employees, to have fun, to engage them in what's going on in the community, and to continue to raise dollars for United Way and for all of the programs that we support. Thank you so much for your time today, and we'll talk to you soon.
United Way has supported the Boys and Girls Club of Central Minnesota since we opened our doors back in 1974. So it's no surprise that they were the very first people to reach out when the pandemic hit and we were forced to close our clubs and kids stop sites back in March. The United Way gave the Boys and Girls Club an emergency grant of $25,000 that allowed us to open the 3 sites to care for the children of essential workers and helped us get our grab and go meal program up and running immediately. Because of this funding, I am proud to say that we are able to distribute over 20,000 meals each month to our youth and our teens in our community that are experiencing food insecurity. The Boys and Girls Club is able to respond to these emergency community needs so quickly because of our ongoing relationship with United Way. United Way is our single largest annual funding partner, and we simply could not provide the ongoing critical services that our community's children need without them. Thank you.
Hello to all of you. I am Sue Hanks, Program Manager with Catholic Charities Emergency Services. We are here to serve and enhance dignity for all people, and that is just what we do each and every day. The dollars from United Way are a critical factor in allowing us to feed the hungry in our community. With the pandemic, we have seen the number growing and change past months. In Minnesota, 1 in 8 of us are now living with hunger as we work to fight the greatest health and economic crisis of our time. The forecast is to see our numbers double and triple throughout the fall and into 2021 as the impacts of the pandemic and economic loss become a reality for individuals within our community.
All of my families are level 1 or level 2. I have a lot of people who work at the hospital.
They are critical care workers and essential workers.
I lost half my staff right off the bat.
Well, we're licensed for 80 right now. Since the pandemic, we only have 9 children coming.
I am licensed for 14. Yeah. Currently, right now, I have 6 that are coming on a daily basis with the virus.
We've had to lay off 1 full-time staff member, 2 part-time staff members, and I've had a 66% reduction in my hours.
Our capacity is like 52, so currently we have 32, so we're holding about half.
We were doing really well before this with a waiting list. But hopefully after this is over, we'll get back there.
Nothing is going to be, there is no more normal, right? We're never going to be what we were pre-pandemic.
I guess for me, I think the most important thing is that childhood still stays childhood.
Obviously, keeping the kids safe is our #1 priority. Let's be real, we want to be around after this is over, and we were in such a good place, and we have tanked so far because of all the people that needed to stay home. So how do we get back?
For us, summer is such a big deal. With 2 of us, we do field trips, we rent a bus, we go to theater camp, we do all those things with the kids. That's going to be different, that we won't be venturing out into the community, which is sad because for some of the kids, that's the only way they get those experiences.
We're all in this together, and we're all living in this chaos and this uncertainty, and everybody's just doing the best they can.
I had one little boy say this week, my mom is really frustrated with her job. And I think, boy, that's a big statement for a 4-year-old.
Well, congratulations on not just maintaining such great spirits and doing the work you're doing, but also figuring out Zoom, which is a challenge for half of our staff on a daily basis. We do have one more thing we wanted to share with you. We did get your contact list from the Initiative Foundation because I believe that all of your organizations applied for the support that they were able to provide. Unfortunately, I heard that they had 800 applicants and were able to only fund 150. While I know this might not be the biggest sum, we did want to share with you that thanks to the generosity of Central Minnesota and the caring power that's come to United Way, we're able to utilize our relief fund and send $1,000 to each of your organizations.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh my God. I know, look at it, I'm gonna cry through it.
Go ahead, Larry, you're up.
Thank you. I told my staff yesterday that we spend so much time looking back that we tend to forget to pause and look. Tend to much time looking forward. We tend to forget to pause and look back. I am very proud of what was accomplished last year. The lives that were changed, the trajectories that were changed, and all that was accomplished because of your support and help. Last year was very challenging financially, but I'm happy to report that due to our strategy of diversifying our revenue, we were able to actually put more dollars back in the community than ever before. I want to talk about the future. We're going to have to continue to diversify our funding. We're going to have to be creative in how we engage with potential and existing donors. And we need to raise our hands and commit to addressing the community's most critical needs head on. Before I give you examples of how we're going to move forward, I want to let you know that we continue to prioritize those critical issues that need to be addressed every day. Emergency food, emergency shelter, programs like Crisis Nursery and Sexual Assault Center. We'll continue to fund those through our safety net funding, because without those services, we can't go further. Our education work will continue. We will expand upon the work that Partner for Student Success is doing, addressing kindergarten readiness, student success, and career and college readiness. And we're going to focus on the impact of racism as a barrier to success in a way we have never done in the past. We are also working very closely with the school districts to ensure that we can accommodate the ever-changing needs of the students, the teachers, and the parents. And we are working very closely on initiatives related to distance learning that I am very proud of. We have previously funded mental health, and in talking to the community, this need continues to grow and emerge. As you can imagine, the impact of COVID on individuals, seniors, parents, children is multiplied the need more than ever. And we are looking for a way that we can support the work that's being done in a meaningful way. We have created a healthcare task force and committee, and they are working to identify the opportunities, and you'll be hearing more about that shortly. Excuse me. Sorry. Finally, we are revisioning our financial stability work. We are looking at how we can increase the supply of workforce housing and affordable housing and ensure that everybody has an opportunity to live in a safe place. And lastly, I want to mention childcare. You saw the stories, you heard some of the statistics, but right now we know that in central Minnesota, there's a shortage of 4,400 childcare slots. And that number is unfortunately increasing daily. We have created a childcare fund. We have done this as part of a larger plan that we are working on and have been working on with our partners like GSDC, the Initiative Foundation, the Milestones, First Children's Finance, and many others. The purpose of the fund is to be able to address immediate needs and also future needs. So things like personal protective equipment, subsidies for folks to get into childcare, helping to childcare providers to create a viable business plan that can ensure their success going forward, providing scholarships for individuals that would want to enter the childcare as a career, looking for ways to increase capacity by micro loans and micro grants, and any number of ways to ensure that the childcare needs in our community are met. This is extremely important for a number of reasons. A number of folks in the economic field have said that without quality childcare, communities will never fully recover from the impact of COVID, and we can't allow it to happen. Also, you can drive around our community and see signs of, asking for employees, open need to fill the slots. Childcare will help address that issue. So I am very, very happy to announce that with a lead gift from Mike and Carol Helgeson, the work has begun. We are beginning to address some of those needs, and we are very aggressively looking for additional funding. As we mentioned, it's been a challenging year. I'm asking you to raise your hand to support the work of education, health, and financial stability. I raised my hand as well, and I don't know if you can see or not, but I raised my hand for Central Minnesota because I know that this community has come together in times of need, and they will tomorrow, and they will in the future. So thank you for all you do. I'm blessed to have an amazing board, an amazing staff, and to live in an amazing community where we can raise our hand and make a difference. So thank you once again for attending today, and I'll turn it back to Ryan.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you again, everybody, for attending today. I realize that talking about people who raise their hand, Jasper talked about raising his hand, Larry talked about what he raises his hand for. I forgot to mention some people that I'd like to recognize for raising their hand. And we had a number of outgoing board members this year that had been committed to, and still are committed to our organization and raised their hand for Central Minnesota and the United Way. And those people are Emily Coburn from Coburn's, Mac Carvu, Mike Markman from US Bank, Jeff Schwiebert from Sartell School District, and Melinda Gow from Quinlivan and Hughes. They spent many years on our board and raised their hand for any number of causes, and many of them continue to stay involved with the United Way. So I want to thank them all very much for their past service and for their continued service and continued support of the United Way. I'd also like to recognize our current board, those who raised their hand for any number of causes that the United Way supports and for our community. And that is Melinda, who's still on our board as past chair, Trevor Ackervik from Marco, Jasper from Clifton Larson Allen, Dr. Anissa Cheek from the Technical College, Peter Coburn from Coburn's Inc., Ryan Daniel from the bus company. I'm sorry, Ryan, my mind is blanking. Adam Heathcote from Bergen KDV, Heather Hoskins from Geocom, Huda Ibrahim from Philsen Talent Partners, Tammy Kuzman from Centricare, Jennifer Lawrence from Layton, Lisa Maurer from Bremer, Matt Nicodim, who we all know and is wearing his tie in that picture, thank God, Mike Schlu from Park Industries, thank you. Malik Stewart from CSB and Steve Winfield from PCI. So excuse me for my mind blanking here, and excuse me for leaving you guys all to the end. We all appreciate all of your commitment and hard work. With that, we're 6 minutes over, so I'd like to thank everybody for their time, for attending this morning, and thank everybody for their support of the United Way. And thank you for raising your hand.